The Duval Rundown, driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, home of the lifetime warranty.
Good morning. What a Monday. What a victory Monday. Welcome to Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes Carline. Please be joined as always on Monday with voice of the Jaguars and host of the Frangie Show, Frank Frangie. Frank, good morning. What a ride.
Good morning, Hayes. Good to be with you. Good to be back from the desert. Got back sort of in the wee hours and ready to go. And yeah, had it all the way. I don't know what people are worried about. Had it all the way. Piece of cake. Yeah, it was a great game. It was a fun game. Listen, these cardiac cats, this is what we talked about on the radio. They take us to the end, but they find a way to win these games. The second overtime win, the second one that happened the same way, right? You win the coin toss, you go score in overtime, and then you hold on for dear life and you make a play to win the game. So it was a terrific win, I thought, because every win in the NFL is good. They're 7-4. They're well positioned. I got a lot of thoughts on where they are and how they got there. But a win is a win. There's no bad wins. Like Liam Cohen said, no apologies. And the Jags win again and move on.
I thought that was one of the more stunning things that I saw yesterday is Liam Cohen in his address to the team in the post-game locker room that Jags Digital tweeted out. I mean, this was, in my opinion, he's given a lot of great fiery speeches in post-game. This one hit the nail on the head. I mean, this one was about as masterful a performance as a head coach can give, in my opinion, because it was ugly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the route they took to get there. In some ways, I think it speaks more highly of them than what they even did against the Chargers. Because it's one thing to, that was great too. It's great to bully a team for 60 minutes and kick them up and down the field. But for them to overcome being -4 in turnover margin and still beat a team on the road, we talk about the 2017 team that we all love that made it to the AFC Championship game. They lost in Arizona that year. I mean, getting the win yesterday for all the spoils that it brings, and we'll get into it. But what a magnificent win, and what a great message in the locker room. We will not apologize for winning. And and yes, there were a lot of mistakes, but they made enough plays to get out of there with an overtime win. I thought there's probably more growth that can come from this win than maybe more growth that could even come with dominating the Chargers.
Well, two things. Number one, most teams win with their A game, Hayes. I don't think that's most teams in most sports, unless you're terrible, most teams in most sports win when they're at their best. The question is, can you win when you have your C- game, which is kind of what happened yesterday. And that's the story, is you can win when you're playing well and you can win when you're making a bunch of mistakes. So that's your point, and I agree with it. And that was his point in the post-game locker room and in the post-game presser. Make one other point, too, here. Most NFL games come down to the end of the game. The team that wins the game is the team that makes winning plays at the end of the game. When they beat the Raiders, they didn't beat the Raiders because on that last play, Geno Smith overthrew an open guy or a receiver dropped a pass. They weren't lucky. They beat the Raiders because Devon Hamilton made a play. They made one more play than the Raiders. Yesterday, they weren't lucky to win the game. It went into overtime. They might have been lucky to win the coin flip, right? But there was no luck. They drove down the field. They drove the ball all the way down to the 35-yard line. Trevor did that. And then Cam Little's got to drill a 52-yard field goal. It's not a chip shot. He drilled the field goal. And then given the same opportunities, the Cardinals couldn't do it, and the Jags made a play. The game didn't end because Brissett overthrew an open guy on fourth down or a guy dropped a pass. The game ended because Dewey and Christian Braswell knocked the ball away. So the teams that win are making plays at the end of the game, whether it's in overtime, whether it's midway through the fourth quarter. And the Jags have proven to be that team. Not every time, but the Jags are proven to be a team that makes enough winning plays. Even Trevor Lawrence, I know we're going to get into Trevor. Trevor made a lot of winning plays in that game. Yeah, he did tell us that he made enough bad plays to keep him in the game or to keep the Cardinals in it, but he made winning plays at the end of the game. If you make enough winning plays, you generally win the game. And that's why this team's 7-4 and on its way to a winning record and possibly a playoff berth.
Well, and that's sort of what I wrote for 1010XL.com, which was, because you're right, Trevor Lawrence, he didn't play well. I mean, and he hasn't played particularly well. this year, but they're 7-4, and be thankful for that. Because honestly, if he doesn't take a step forward relatively soon, this is going to be fleeting, because you just can't perpetually survive poor quarterback play, which is unfortunately what he has given them. Again, not to get too gloom and doom, because I was really encouraged by the win. But in talking about Trevor, you're now talking about a quarterback that's 14 touchdowns, 11 picks on the year. His passer rating is 79.4%. Just to put that number into perspective, the passer rating number, there are 27 quarterbacks in this league that qualify for that stat, that have attempted at least 306 passes. So you have to have played a pretty good bit to qualify. 27 have. Trevor's 25th. He's only ahead of Joe Flacco and Cam Ward. So to put that in perspective, Trevor Lawrence, who is guiding a 7-4 team, has a worse passer rating, which, say what you want about that stat, I do think it reflects who plays well. If you look at the top of the board in passer rating, normally that's going to be the stars of the league, and it's that way this year. Trevor Lawrence's passer rating at 79.4% is lower than Geno Smith, Spencer Rattler, and Justin Fields. Okay. That's just not sustainable. So just, enjoy these wins, be thankful for it, enjoy being in the race, because if he doesn't improve, it will not last very long.
Number one, I don't debate anything you're saying. What you're saying is all fair points. I'll go the other way a little bit. Geno Smith, Justin Fields, whoever else you said, there's one other stat, and that's I wonder how many wins they have. Okay, so here's my thought on Trey, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I want to see how many wins they have, because I think wins matter. I knew a baseball coach once, Hayes, that had a great point about he had a shortstop that made a bunch of errors and hit a bunch of home runs. And Trevor Lawrence yesterday was the shortstop that made 3 errors, which is unconscionable to make 3 errors in a game, and hit 3 home runs. So you go, well, my baseball coach buddy used to say, it's okay to let him in if you knock him in, right? Well, he let him in and knocked him in. That's kind of the game he had. He had made some big-time plays with his feet. He made some big-time plays as a passer. And those big-time plays are one of the reasons the Jags have 7 wins. They're also, the mistakes are one of the reasons they're coming to the end of these wins. So I really do believe that. I think Trevor Lawrence has got to clean up. He's got to clean up the mistakes. I don't know that he's ever going to be a high passer rating guy, at least not yet. But again, I think I'm not debating what you're saying, but the reality is he's made plays to win these games at the end of the game. There are 13 teams in the NFL that have 7 wins or more. That means there's 19 teams that don't have 7 wins or more. And of those 13 teams that have wins or more, I think it's quarterbacks who are having good years that typically haven't. Bo Nix is in that list. Daniel Jones is on that list. Trevor Lawrence is on that list. So I think I'm not debating what you say. He knows that. He's got to quit turning the ball over. That's the bottom line. Forget passer percentage, but you got to quit turning the ball over. That's the biggie. If you're the shortstop, keep hitting the home runs, but quit making the errors. And nobody debates that. But as I told you this on our radio show, if they get 2 more wins, and they're going to, Trevor Lawrence will have authored 3 winning seasons in his last 4 years. Okay? Since the end of the 99 season. The Jaguars started in 95, as we all know. They had 1 mediocre year and then 4 great years under Tom Coughlin. It was one of the bizarre starts to a franchise of all time. We all know that. Since 2000, if they have a winning season this year, since 2000, in the 26 seasons, 2000, the Jags will have had 7 winning seasons. 7 winning seasons since 2000. And Trevor Lawrence will have authored 3 of those, even young in his career. That's with 3 different head coaches. That is with 4 different play callers. That is with an entire different group of receivers. Heck, he doesn't even have the group of receivers now that he started this season with. And so, he's got to clean up the mistakes. He's got to quit turning the ball over. He's got to anticipate defensive players jumping in front of his receivers and jumping routes. That's what he doesn't do very well right now. He's got to quit turning the ball over. And that's the big thing, the turning the ball over, and he's got to take better care of the ball. He shouldn't have 11 interceptions, but he's making big plays to win games at the end of the game, and he continues to prove that over and over and over.
Absolutely. Jacob Simons helping us out on Duval Rundown. Jacob, let's say hello to our sponsor, please.
I'm Rick Ballou, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jaguars. Drive with confidence. Every new vehicle comes with our exclusive lifetime warranty. 7030 Commonwealth Avenue or online at jackswest.com.
Frank, let's talk about what this victory means for the Jaguars. So they're now the 6th seed in the AFC. They moved up a spot there. They're one game back of the Colts, who couldn't hold a lead in Arrowhead yesterday. So one game back of the Colts. The Colts still play Houston at home, at the Jaguars, at the Seahawks, home against the 49ers, home against the Jaguars, and then wrap the season up in Houston. A brutal final 6 games for the Indianapolis Colts. And you mentioned it, the Jaguars haven't even gotten to the Titans yet. So they're at 7 wins. They play the Titans twice. They play the Jets remaining. So, boy, for all the flaws that we saw yesterday, the Jaguars right now are in fantastic shape to win this division and have a home playoff game.
And think about this too, Hayes. And by the way, I think the Colts are pretty good. I 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got over the Colts are good because they play a bad schedule. They have a good team. They almost won that game yesterday. They probably should have won it. So the Colts have a good team. So the Colts might keep right on winning no matter what their schedule is. We'll see. But as for the Jaguars, to your point, they have 7 wins, and they've got 2 games with the Titans and 1 with the Jets remaining. Okay, the Titans are 1-10. All right, so you've got 2 with the Titans, 1 with the Jets, and you're already at 7 wins. I'd be surprised if that doesn't mean 10 wins. Now we'll see what they do in the 2 Colts games and a trip to Denver. But they are very well positioned. And think about this again. And again, I'm not making excuses. This is a first-year EVP, a first-time EVP, a first-time general manager, and a first-time head coach who came in here, kind of had to gut a roster. Think about this for a second too. Of the 25, 26 most prominent players, that means you're 22 guys who started the game yesterday, and then your top 3 or 4 reserves. You know, they bring in reserves at wide receiver, reserves at pass rusher. You know what I'm talking about. 25 or 26 guys play, right, prominently in a football game, not counting special teams. There's 25 to 26 to 28 guys that really affect your game, okay? So of those 25, 13 are new. You realize that? So they've had to gut half their team, brand new team, first-time EVP, first-time coach, first-time GM. They're 7-4. They're going to win 10 games at a minimum. They're going to win 10 games. So this is a miraculous season. Yeah, it's ugly and clunky sometimes, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world to watch. But the prettiest thing in the world to watch is a win. So they're well positioned. To your point, I think they feel pretty good. I was around that team a lot yesterday. I saw them get on that bus. I got on the bus with them. I saw them get on that plane. I got on the plane with them. I can tell you, traveling with them every game, there was more joy on that plane on the ride home back than I can remember in a long time. And they're not crying in their beer types anyway. You know, you get on a plane, when you're on a team plane, there's not a lot of chatter. Everybody puts their AirPods in. Everybody tries to get a little rest. We've had all these long trips, so you know, Hayes, there's a lot of these 3 and 4 hour flights. There was more energy around the players on that ride home yesterday because they found a way to win another game. So I like where this team is. They got to clean some stuff up. They got to get some guys back healthy. But I like where this team is, and I like how they're playing.
And the one thing that this team continues to do really well, and you know, it's just a basic tenet of football. It's not, you know, doesn't carry a lot of sizzle with it, but it's the heart of winning at any level of football. Is this team runs the ball and it stops the run. And that covers a lot of other flaws. When you look at what they've been able to do, of course, they won the rushing battle yesterday against Arizona. The Jags ran it for 134 yards. The Cardinals had 55. So another major win in terms of the ground game for the Jaguars. And if you look on the season now, the Jaguars have, on the ground, gained 1,409 yards. The opponents have gained 922. The Jaguars 4.4 yards a carry, opponents 3.9, and the Jaguars have run for 14 touchdowns, and the opponent only has 7. I mean, Frank, when you have those numbers, you are going to win games, and that is going to allow you to overcome some deficiencies elsewhere.
That's a great point. I didn't know all those numbers. I'll say this, though. That's a great point, by the way. I love those numbers. I'll bet you in terms of who's the more physical football team. I'll bet you the Jags have won that battle. I don't know what the metric is, Hayes, but I'll bet you they've won that battle 9 of the 11 games. Okay, they're 7-4. They were more physical than Cincinnati. They didn't finish the game. They lost. They dominated Houston for 3 quarters and lost the game in the fourth quarter. So they're 7-4, and 2 games got away from them that they had led most of the game. And the other games, now, the Rams were more physical. The Seahawks were more physical. I don't know that I can remember another game where they got pushed around. The Rams pushed them around, and the Seahawks really pushed them around. But I can't remember another game where they got, to your point, where they got pushed around. They want to run the football. And look, they're going to find themselves. I can tell you this, too. They spent a lot of time kind of rebuilding some offensive pieces. I think next year you rebuild some defensive pieces. They still have to figure out who they are. Who's their passing game? I mean, you thought about, I know you have because we've talked about it. This season started with a brand new receiving core. Brian Thomas Jr., De'Ami Brown, Travis Hunter. Those 3 gazelles out wide who are going to run 100 miles an hour, a brand new receiving core. Well, guess what? All 3 are gone for now. Travis Hunter gone for the year. Brian Thomas Jr. hadn't played in a while. De'Ami Brown, they probably missed on him, doesn't play very much. So now it's Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, and Tim Patrick. It's 3 entirely different guys. That tells me it's a team trying to find itself. And it also tells me a team, to the point you just made, Hayes, they want big physical receivers who will block downfield, who will catch the football, and that's what they've got. Now, what you don't have that you thought you were going to have, you don't have a lot of field stretchers in that group. So you're not going to see a lot of balls deep down the field until Brian Thomas Jr. gets back or until there's more De'Ami Brown. So I think all part of that is figuring out who you are, figuring out if you want to be a running football team and a physical football team, what personnel groupings help you become that. And I think they're starting to become that. So they're 7-4 while they're trying to learn. You know, I mean, the Chiefs aren't trying to learn who they are. The Ravens aren't trying to learn who they are. The Bills, they kind of know who they are, right? This is a team that's 7-4, and they're still trying to figure out who they are. That's the most impressive part to me.
Yeah, and a couple of key players from yesterday. Brenton Strange coming back, really huge performance from him. Targeted 5 times, caught all 5 for 93 yards. Devin Lloyd and Dennis Gardeck really got after Jacoby Brissett. They combined for 3 sacks, 9 quarterback hits. Parker Washington continues to just dazzle with the season that he is having. A lot of fun success stories that came out of this game. Again, obviously there were issues, but who cares? They got the win, and not only did they run the ball and stop the run, there were some other areas as well that I would think Liam Cohen and his staff are going to be very pleased with when they review the film.
And they did a lot of that. They're still down so many guys, Hayes. I mean, Brenton Strange was terrific. It was good to have him back. He's been down for a month and a half. Parker Washington continues to shine. Dennis Gardeck's the guy they went and got it and brought him kind of into the fold here. Devin Lloyd, they kind of found new life for him. He's a guy that was fading the last few years, as you and I both know. So, I mean, at some point, Trayvon Walker's coming back. Anton Harrison's coming back. Brian Thomas Jr. at some point is going to come back. Whether he is as evolved as you expect him to be, we'll see. But he certainly gives them a field stretcher they don't have right now. So Brian's coming back. Anton's coming back. At some point, Trayvon Walker's coming back. They've just been down so many important guys and still managed to win despite all that. Look at the secondary. Jordan Lewis is coming back at some point. Eric Murray's coming back at some point. And by the way, the secondary is the most fascinating part to me. Think about this for a second. That when this season started, Tyson Campbell was an important corner. Well, he's out. He's gone. He's traded to Cleveland. They went and got Greg Newsome. We'll see. I don't know if Greg was hurt yesterday or if he's just not playing very well.
I think he got benched.
Yeah, I think he got benched for Christian Braswell. So I mean, think about, they played yesterday, Hayes, with Christian Braswell, Monteric Brown, Jarian Jones. That was their cornerbacks yesterday. Braswell, Jones, and Monteric Brown, and Antonio Johnson, one of their safeties. You expected Andrew Winger to be in the mix. Rayon Lane is playing a lot of safety for them. They drafted Rayon Lane to be a special teams player, and he's a marvelous special teams player. He's having to learn to play safety. They lost Ransaw for the season before he ever played here. So again, and listen, that's the NFL. I get it. I could go pick the Colts and they could tell you how many guys they've had hurt, or the Texans could tell you they don't have C.J. Stroud. I get it. everybody gets hurt. But the Jags have authored this 7-4 season, which you and I think, both believe is about to become an 8-4 season because the Titans aren't very good.
Yeah, it should be.
With a lot of guys out. So it's again, I got on the plane yesterday. We were laughing at how dramatic some of these games are and how sometimes the Jags make enough mistakes to keep them dramatic. But beyond that, they're becoming one of these teams that learns how to. The great teams in sports learn how to win. It's early. It's only 11 games into this regime. But you watch the good teams, and they know how to win. You always point out the Steelers. And when we do our talk show in the afternoon, you point out the Steelers. That's one of these games. Remember that? You say, well, that's a game the Steelers are going to win. This is a game the Steelers typically win. That's a game they typically win. Well, I think the Jags are evolving into that group. It's not pretty all the time, but it's good. Well, that's the game the Jags typically win. That's the game the Jags kind of win. That's who it feels like they are. I was pretty excited after that game yesterday because I know they didn't play their best. They had a lot of chances to lose that game, but you kind of felt like just with the Raiders, the Jags are going to make another play. How many times is Jag fan, and a lot of Jag fans are watching this podcast, right? How many times as a Jags fan, has a game been close and you felt we're going to mess it up, right? Think about it, Hayes. Think about you and I are kind of Jags fans. We followed them our whole lives. We're going to mess it up. Something will happen. And I think now they've become the team that you kind of think, they're going to do something. Trevor might throw a pick or a fumble, but at the end of the game, Cam Little's going to kick one from 60, right? Logan Cook's going to pin somebody back. Parker Washington, who might be the best punt returner in the league, by the way, he's going to run one back 40 yards, and they'll kick a field goal. And they've become a team that you kind of start waiting for them to make the winning play. At least that's how I see it. And that's a cool thing. It really is. Yeah,
absolutely. Great stuff, Frank. We certainly appreciate it. Look forward to catching up with you later this afternoon on the Frangie Show. And we will be back with Duval Rundown on Wednesday with Ryan O'Halloran. We will certainly look forward to that. Until then, enjoy Victory Monday, and thanks for watching Duval Rundown.